Leona Yasuo. This is definitely my favorite Yasuo deck in the format, and one of the reasons why I think a lot of Yasuo decks struggle to be competitive and reasonable is something that this deck doesn't do, which is this deck isn't playing a bunch of bad cards to make Yasuo playable. So a lot of Yasuo decks have this problem where they're playing a bunch of cards that are kind of individually weak because they have synergy to enable Yasuo, and this deck explicitly isn't doing that because one of our primary means of generating stuns is Leona, and Leona with her Daybreak package is just a very playable set of Runeterra cards. So Leona stuns something when she comes into play as the first card, or when she's leveled up, she stuns something every time you Daybreak. So Leona all on her own can be all of Yasuo's leveling. So we have the entire Daybreak package with the Solaris and Solari Priestess. We've got some combat tricks in Pale Cascade. We also have some other stun payoffs like Blade Twirler. And then at the very top end of our curve, we've got some Infinite Mind Splinter, which is a card that's fallen out of the format a little bit, but I think is still very reasonable. This is another card that the Infinite Mind Splinter all on its own can level up Yasuo completely because this stuns every single turn. So 3 turns of this dragon sitting in play fully levels Yasuo. And then another great thing that this card pairs with Yasuo is once Yasuo's in play with Mind Splitter, Yasuo kills the things that Splinter is locking down eventually. So if the Splinter dies, they've still lost their things, so they don't get them back, basically. We also have a couple copies of Mina Swiftfoot at the top end of our curve, especially with the buff that this gained to gain quick attack is a very reasonable finisher, and Mina is very good against things like Harrowing as well as Feel the Rush to kind of reset your opponent's board a little bit and not give them that big attack while you pressure them out of the game. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games here with this and see how it goes. If you're someone that's gonna get upset because you got a 10-minute timeout, this channel's probably not a good culture fit for you, so feel free to change the channel. Apologies if having accountability for your actions is a problem for you. I'm gonna delete the timeout culture command because it doesn't really apply anymore because the chat's no longer closed. This is a great drop. It's our Daybreak going for Leona, and then also Brick Walls their aggro this turn. So, like, do they want to trade this off for getting in 4 points of damage? Probably not, but even if they do, I'm pretty happy with that exchange.
You'll never see it coming.
And they do, sign me up. You could maybe argue that I'm supposed to eat the 2-2 as opposed to the 2-1 because I have this 1-3. That's cute. Opponent is playing Darius Draven with the cheeky Katarina.
It's Draven time.
One thing that's important to note is we can know our opponent's playing 3 Darius, 2 Draven, 1 Katarina because of the order of their champions here. Leona is, unfortunately, one of the champions that's not really optional in the decks that play her. You definitely need 4 of her for this deck to be playable. There's some other decks like Fearsome Aggro, for example, where budgeting some of the champions isn't a big deal. This deck budgeting champions is a big deal. Hey, Ghost Alien, thank you for the 3/4 of a year of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, no attacks there is great for us. So this still isn't ready to level. I would play. It's probably like 5 Leona actually. Press a pick. Her champion spell is like really good when she's in play. I might even play 6 Leona if they let me.
Death is like the wind, always by my side.
She's really good. Is there a punish for doing this? They could Pale Cascade here. They could double Pale Cascade here, but that's pretty unlikely. And I think I'm happy if they double Pale Cascade in that exchange. So I think I'm attacking like this. Get to eat a friend, that's fine. So, I'm willing to give this up if they have double Pale Cascade, not willing to give this up to single. That's a good one. Less good after they open attacks.
Welcome to try.
Ever vigilant.
No more running.
Try to leave a dent.
Think I block like this, so that way if they have the give everything to attack, Leona lives. Am I still dead? I might still be dead. The 3. This still gives all their things to attack is the issue here. So this doesn't get stunned, but I still take a giant hit here.
Don't let the fluffy tails fool you.
Their archetype does tend to play Decimate. Darius is also scary.
Our sun will not set today.
They usually don't play Noxian
I have
Fervor.
my orders.
That's definitely a card they could have.
My faith protects me. I am the bulwark against darkness.
Number, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel.
Betcha I kill more of them.
Oh, it's on. Devotion through battle.
Rock march.
We're dead to open attacks at the moment. This deals the damage. It's funny how March has all these different seasons and holidays in it. Yep. Concussive Palm is a live draw. That means we don't die to open attacks.
This might hurt.
Axis coming right up.
A little bit slow there. Opponent's archetype is very good. I think if you're looking for an aggro deck to ladder with in the last couple of days, their deck could definitely be one of my recommendations. The Overwhelm aggro
The skies.
and Fearsome aggro, I think, are the 2 best quick laddering decks at the moment. They're the decks that I've had some of the highest win rates with that also win games quickly. When does the season end? I believe it's December 4th. Does it say in client? Last updated. Does it not say in client where the season ends? So this is in 4 days. Wait, in 4 days? Monuments of Power tournament starting in 4 days. I don't know. Anyone know or have an educated guess on when spoilers start? We don't currently. So, one thing they haven't been super clear, one area where Riot's still lacking communication is definitely when sets are releasing. I don't even think we have an official date posted on when the next set drops yet. It should be mid to end of December, but they haven't actually confirmed that yet. Anivia. So I'm gonna mulligan these expensive cards to start, keep my cheap ones here. I mean, you should play the ladder because you enjoy it. If you don't enjoy playing games, I'd encourage you to do something else with your time.
They're out there.
Yeah, I think that's probably part of it, Luna Hero. I think they don't fully know exactly what they want their timelines to be just yet.
These old eyes still see far and clear.
Don't let the fluffy tails fool you.
Have a rotating standard format like other CCGs. They haven't given us official confirmation one way or another on that. It's very, very likely though, Kylo. I also don't expect rotation to happen anytime soon if they do. I'd be pretty surprised if we get a rotation before we have all the regions in the game.
Daylight breaks on the battlefield.
There's a lot of different ways they can do a rotation. I think I want to do this just to attack in past this for 6, start getting some pressure going here. They're a Harrowing control deck, so we're like the beatdown here, which is not a good spot to be in. I would imagine this matchup specifically is bad for us. Although we do have Mina here, which can be good at resetting their Harrowings. My estimation, and I've talked about this before on stream, is that I would be surprised if we see a rotation happen before 2022. I would imagine they want to get all of the regions in the game before they rotate it.
Stand and fight.
Krug, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. I think there's really any incentive to gem this here. Maybe attacking past that later is a reason. Because it gets it out of grasp range technically, but like they have plenty of other good grasp targets here. I think no spoilers would be very silly. I also think we'll definitely get spoilers. Riot, while they haven't communicated what their timelines for spoilers are, like, their videos announcing champions and their supporting cards are always very well done. And I'd expect we're going to see those every set release. Well, their spoilers get people excited about the product, for sure. What does rotation mean? Rotation means a format where not all cards in the game are legal. So if you're familiar with Hearthstone, they have their Wild in their standard format. Magic Arena has things like Standard and Historic. That's something that's very, very typical in card games. You'll have a format where you'll have a format where like all of your cards are legal, and then you'll have a different format where the card sets or cards that are legal in it change over time. So I played the Conspirator out here to pick this back up Because one, it added attack here, but I also didn't want to play into Ruination this turn. They have 9 mana available. I think I'm just passing back here. Nah, I think Proactive Bastion is loose. I want to Bastion in response to a Ruination. I think us burning 3 mana and then burning 6 there is fine.
Our sun will not set today.
Found a tweet from Riot and Seabrook confirming his QA hasn't changed, but it's happening. Everything is still TBD. Sure. So we know rotation is happening. Sure, that's good to know.
Let's talk about your dad.
Alright, they're down to 6 here. And again, you can see kind of the balance between passing and not here, choosing to spend our mana versus choosing to play to the board. There's this real tension in these matchups where sweepers are involved to, like, keep enough pressure on board that you're pressuring your opponent's life total, but to not overextend into their sweepers. And cards like Day Spear really help with this because they basically draw cards when they come into play. In what ways is this better than the Asol and Invoke control deck? My number one piece of advice for you as a card game player is to take this idea of strictly better and strictly worse and just delete it from your vocabulary. It's very, very silly. This deck doesn't have to be better or worse than other decks. It's just different. And sometimes it's okay to draw parallels, but rather than, like, if you look at the deck list card to card, like, not every deck playing the Leona package is the same. Do we just pass here? I don't know that we do, right? So it's a question of, do we want to get ruinated, right? And, like, if they ruinate, what do we do? Who is your daddy and what does he do? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards in hand. I kind of think I want to play Blade Twirler and see what they do. And then if they ruinate me, I'll drop Eclipse Dragon. Oh, I'm sorry, Gindy. I forgot to bring you back last time. Big bully mods. Okay, and, like, now they did this. So, like, now I could just go ahead and drop Eclipse Dragon and they no longer have Ruinate mana up. So I'm assuming we're about to see a second Avalanche here, but I'm still pretty okay with that, right? Like, Avalanche, clean these out. Yeah, our deck draws a lot of cards. Alright, now they no longer have Avalanche mana up. Okay. And again, you can kind of see there how my plays happened. Like, what I was doing was dictated by how much mana my opponent had available and what they had access to. So I'm expecting some amount of interaction this turn, and we've got Bastion and might be able to kill them. Dork, thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. Welcome to the channel. I think we just try and kill them, right? There was no bug. The reason why the Eclipse Dragon triggered both is because it was Always Sunny in Runeterra. Ravi Day Spear was in play. And then, or if you're pointing out the fact that the discount went away because I played a 0-cost Celestial unit. So I played a Celestial unit, so technically my next Celestial or Dragon was discounted. It was just already free. So there was no bug there with the Eclipse Dragon. One Svi, thanks for the follow. Okay, so another control matchup. I think I'm mulliganing the... Actually, you know, I'm just going to full mulligan looking for our Daybreak package to start. Nailed it. See the heretics.
Follow the horizon.
In matches where we are the beatdown, which is against other control decks. So I would definitely classify our deck as a control deck in general, but against other decks that are also controlling, we are generally the proactive one. Because other control decks tend to go a little bit bigger than our deck does. So our deck tends to be behind against some of these other decks as the games go longer. So we want to position ourselves in the games that we're playing to do better against them. To beat them down before we make it to that end game. Let's get a Priestess here. This card is worth its weight in gold in this matchup. Being able to kill, obliterate Tryndamirs and Trundles or things off of Field of Rush is great.
Witness glory.
So this block here, we can read into this that it would imply that they likely don't have Avalanche in hand. So that's a card we probably don't need to worry about thinking about as we make our plays from here on out.
King of Trolls coming through.
Goodbye, friend. Do I ever play or stream Expedition? So most of what I play on stream are viewer submissions, and people don't really submit Expedition stuff, so I take Expedition submissions when people send them in, but it's not a format that people ask for very often. So most of the content here is viewer driven. Now, they do have Ruination this turn. That being said, this draws a card when it comes into play, effectively, by generating a random Daybreak card, and if they want to ruinate their Rinding Stones off the table, I think that's a win for us, so I'm going to go ahead and jam here into their potential sweeper.
Leave your bags in the door.
So, healing this would imply we could see an Avalanche in our future. Which means I don't really want to attack... Why couldn't I attack into a Trundle? Trundle's a 4/5 now, Lambton. So, healing this means I probably don't want to attack this into their 3/3. It also means, though, that attacking these in is probably fine, because they'll die to Avalanche anyways, and marking damage on here means this dies to Avalanche. Weird. Okay, now I just have no idea what they have based on their plays. Nah, I like Expeditions in this game. I don't know that I like them more than Constructed, but about the same. One of the things that Runeterra Expeditions do really well that I like is Runeterra Expeditions tend to be very high power level. They're very close in power level to normal Constructed. Huh? We've made my Dorko vulnerable. this and see what we get. Written in the Stars sounds lovely. I think I'm looking for one of my champions at this point.
Sunlight guide you, my brethren.
Who would face me?
That's terrifying. And I tapped below being able to concussive palm. Yeah, that's exactly why, Ryumi. Riot isn't trying to fleece their players with booster packs so they don't fill their card sets with a bunch of terrible cards. There's so many things that are great about Runeterra incidentally, just by virtue of the fact that Riot's not trying to sell you card packs. It's not a terrible draw. Let's do this and see what we get. Probably want to wait a turn on this. Oh no, they can Field Rush this turn. They hadn't counted that yet. Hadn't counted those. Probably dead to Field Rush on turn 7. I guess I could draw another Concussive Palm and maybe be okay. Oh, I guess they can't fit 2 things on board right now, right? It's something to note. So if they Field Rush, they're only getting 1 Dorko. Yasuo's champion spell is Steel Tempest, which is good. I think I need to wait to play him, though, until after I have Bastion up. I think we play this and get to attack into this and get a gem.
Welcome to the tipsy hour. Let rage fill your soul.
Okay. So now I have a window to play Yasuo out here and not have to worry about him.
Some didn't, but I changed their minds. Live to fight.
Them's the beats, right? Atrocity. MND, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel.
Keep moving on.
Yeah. We're really good at grinding through Feel the Rush, but big atrocities like that, we just don't have a ton of counterplay to. Why'd you let yourself get all the way down to 17 HP? Asking the real questions. Alright, Jinx Draven, so they're an aggro deck. Super happy to keep this cheap unit. Leona's got a good blocking body. Hoping to mulligan into some other cheap Daybreak things. 9-drop is not the druid we're looking for. Hey, Walker, thanks for the 10 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. So, the people in chat that are suggesting Will of Iona, I think you're doing, what you're suggesting there is a good example of something people frequently try to do, which is they try to sideboard against their last ladder matchup. You shouldn't change your deck to play around your opponent atrocitying you from 17. Sometimes you're just gonna die when they atrocity you from 17, and that's fine. That's just a part of card games. Variance happens. You shouldn't make knee-jerk reactions to change your deck every time you encounter a situation that's statistically unlikely to happen again. That's a very good way to make your deck very bad. And it's not even just about beating every other deck. It's about beating every other situation out of every other deck, right? Like, that last matchup, for example, I actually don't think that's that bad of a matchup because we have a lot of stuns and recalls to beat their field rushes, but explicitly when, you know, that small percentage chance happens where they make a 17-17 and then kill us with it, it, like, felt bad, but I shouldn't adjust my deck to account for that small percentage chance to happen again.
Daylight breaks on the battlefield.
You gotta be able to separate or ask yourself that question, okay, how frequently is the thing that just happened to me going to happen again? And if the answer is, it's frequently going to happen, then maybe it's worth making an adjustment to account for, but there's a good chance it's not something that's going to happen frequently.
Feel the sun's glory.
I agree, J-Ray. I think if you really wanted to fight Atrocity, I would rather play Deny than Will of Iona, but I also don't think that this deck really wants to play Deny.
Let's boogie.
Yeah, we're playing Mina to beat Field Rush.
Ever vigilant.
Probably gonna see a vision here. Oh, they messed up here, right? They shouldn't have axed this. They should have axed something else. They missed a point of damage here, technically.
I have insurance. I go where the road takes me.
Yeah, they missed level up progress on Draven too because of that. It's a good catch. I have like mixed feelings on that get excited. Like on one part, maybe I should have gemmed her, but on the other part, then it's not, that's the get excited that's not hitting my face. So like 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other.
The sun got me good.
What's our best generation here? Probably Meteor Shower, so we can like kill this plus this.
Bask in her radiant blessing.
Just like we drew it up. See what they have to play out here. We're still a little bit behind here. Would really like to draw a Concussive Palm next turn, so that way we can have decent defense against open attacks. Because, like, they could have another Draven or a Jinx here, and that'll really put us behind. They also have this Challenger here to pull a blocker out of the way.
Life and death on the blade's edge.
Is there a specific training regimen we could go through to get better at calling shots? The trick is to call all of the shots, and then eventually you call some of them correctly. What? Alright, so my opponent has now spent 9 points of damage killing our units, and I am at 8 life. So I think my opponent's I think there's a chance we still die here, but I definitely think my opponent has misassessed what their cards are supposed to be doing in this matchup. And, like, there's a chance they didn't have all that burn when they started playing it, but I think they definitely should be playing to that as outs, right? I definitely prefer my opponent to what they've done so far. That being said, like, they get to open attacks and put us to 3 here, so we are just dead to, like, you know, another get excited.
Anything helps.
Our strength is forever at its zenith.
Blessed daylight surrounds you.
Sure, they can be worried about healing out of us. They don't necessarily... We are playing a bit of a brew, so they don't know necessarily that we're not playing. We're not playing cards that heal. Probably because they just want to get something out, innuendo. I mean, they literally can't pass anything, right? They don't control anything. My understanding is that the Republicans budging on anything in terms of stimulus was contingent upon the ability to shield corporations from liability on their workers. Because, as always, the GOP has big business in mind, not actual people.
Underestimate. I dare you.
I feel like this might be another deck where I want to give up on Pale Cascade. I mean, like, there are things in there that need to happen, right? You know, like, if you got to give up liability protections to, like, get money for PPE to places and get money to local and state governments. Like, that's a big deal. I think I want some amount of healing. What if we trim Yone and the Pale Cascades? I don't know what 300 UI means. Is that unemployment insurance? Is that what it is? It's probably unemployment insurance. I would imagine is what that means. Unemployment insurance, yeah. Which means that for some people who worked traditional jobs, that will be beneficial, but a lot of people who are gig workers will still be in trouble. You think Bastion's bad? Yeah, I could see that. Is Bastion, like, talking about getting Deny in here, is Bastion a card that we would prefer to be Deny? The combat stat line on here, let's try that. Deny plays against burn spells. Sure. Let's try swapping the Pale Cascades to Guiding Touches as well. Sometimes Bastion helps you win inside of combat. Can you explain why you think Star Shaping is good? Star Shaping's very, very expensive in terms of mana. Opponent is playing Fearsome Aggro, it looks like here. think I'm holding on to these as blockers. This is a good draw too, because it has 3 power. Deny is flexible. You're right that Notify is better against explicitly burn spells, but we were largely playing Bastion to protect against things like Vile Feast and Ruination, or Vengeance and Ruination, which Notify misses. Maybe I should play this pre-attacks. Yeah, I should probably play this before I attack here. Big A, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel.
I go where the road takes me.
Steel Tempest is quite good against Mist Wraith, especially with Yasuo up. Notify is much better against Gohard, you're not wrong. It's worth noting that with Gohard out there, though, that Deny is better than Bastion in that matchup too, right? So, yeah, Deny seems like a better metagame switch. Wraithcaller is very good. The important thing to remember about Wraithcaller, though, is this allegiance cost that it has is a very real deck building cost. Well, I mean, UBI giving people the power to strike is similar to why healthcare, universal healthcare is so heavily resisted in the United States, right, Yo Cousin? If healthcare isn't tied to people's jobs, people have the freedom to be able to quit jobs that treat them poorly. Which gives a lot of power to individual workers. When the punishment for quitting your job is you could literally be bankrupt for the rest of your life because someone in your family got sick, it's much more difficult to quit your job.
Underestimate. I dare you.
We shall not rest until all betrayers pay.
I'm gonna pass for now and burn a mana. I think I'd rather wait to play this after we get Daylight Spear in play.
Our sun will not set today.
What's the logic behind one Steel Tempest? Steel Tempest actually isn't that good of a card. It's a card that's good explicitly when you have Yasuo in play, but in general, it's a card that's card disadvantage. Let's attack into here is probably bad. I think I should attack in with this, but this attack was loose. This is quick attack, so it's pretty much a free roll. That's interesting. Stay safe out there, Colepuck. It's a good draw. That's scary. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have attacked last turn. Black Spear wasn't a card that was really on my radar to play around. I guess they have Kalista in play. So they had Kalista's Black Spear there.
Gaze into the light.
I think I'm gonna Soldier, Conspirator, pick the Soldier back up here. So Mind Splinter's actually very good in this matchup as well, in part because it clogs up their board with what we're stunning, and with them being a harrowing deck, their board spaces are a very big resource to them.
All unbelievers will see the light.
I'm gonna make this 3 power so it can block Fearsomes.
I know a way.
Attack with my elusive. Cloud Blazer, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Yep, yep. A lot of they're definitely a go wide aggro deck, right? So like choking 2 spots up on their board with useless units is really strong. Get dialed in here. So every turn while this is out, these are stunned.
Here's our chance.
It also pumps up the jam on this by a lot. Makes this card very big very quickly. Why did it get the name Dial-Up Dragon? The sound effect when it comes into play. It's not exactly a dial-up modem noise, but it's pretty close. You can see our opponent overrating their stunned units there. Red Rover, let the attackers come over. So they need to like attack, but they also need to like not be dead on the backswing next turn.
We shall pierce their treasonous hearts.
Pierce their treasonous hearts. Alright, so these 2 are locked out potentially.
Don't want any trouble.
Get guilty with bed.
So these 2 are going to get stunned by the Dial-Up Dragon next turn, which will make this huge. No, I'm intentionally, that's a good comment. I'm intentionally leaving this alive so that way it takes up board space for my opponent. So, I'm aware we could switch these and kill this, but I explicitly don't want to kill this.
Proud warriors of the sun's true light.
Now who's got the upper hand?
Yep, now we're just gonna go ahead and gem up and then attack. Craig Millar, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Oh, to have less damage on one of the dragons? Sure. Yeah, that's a free swap rate. Alright, we've got some denies in our deck now, chat. Let's see if they are the weakest link. Mulligan the Blade Twirler, keep the rest of these. Again, I think on average we're the beatdown in this matchup. Yeah, not only do unions largely not exist in the United States, but like Yoka's in there, 37 hours a week for me. There are laws that protect full-time workers in the United States for the most part, but companies sidestep those by keeping people just under full-time in a lot of places. So you can get almost full-time work out of someone, but not be responsible for any of the protections full-time workers are supposed to be afforded. Because capitalism. I want to thank you for showing me Runeterra. It's made me more critical of the monetary systems in place for other games. Yep, and by hiring through temp agencies as well. A lot of things. Yeah, that's the problem with strict definitions like that, right? You like just skirt around the outside of them. Terciel, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Yep, yeah, that was the case. So, when I started streaming, it was because I was a stay-at-home dad with an infant, so I was just streaming like when my child napped or was like sleeping or behaving. When they're like 6 months old, don't do a lot. When my oldest was born a little over 6 years ago, and the reason why I ended up being the stay-at-home parent as opposed to my wife was, even though we worked at the same company, I was a temporary employee and she was actually worked for the company itself. I worked for a third-party vendor. So she had a lot more benefits available to her, even though we worked for the same place at similar salaries, because I was technically not an employee. I think it's just written in the stars here. Meteor Shower doesn't do a lot in this match. The stat line on this isn't very good. I already have a lot of champions in my hand, though. All those options were kind of bad. Really just want to hit Meteor Shower in this matchup. Comet. Yeah, that's the one. I want the one that obliterates. Meteor Shower was the one we had that was bad. Comet was the one we wanted.
The trolls are going to war!
Follow the wind. Watch your back.
Actually, you know what? That's wrong. I should have played Leona there, right? I guess playing Leona next turn means I get to stun it and then attack in, though, which is appealing. My health total doesn't really matter here.
With its light, the Solari will unite the heavens!
Deal.
Easy.
Behold the sun's holy light! Feel the sun's glory!
Warm hots and hot soups.
So they don't have Ruination mana up now. I think I want to just get Day Spear going so I can get Leona leveled. This also has a decent stat line to block here, which is nice.
Light surrounds you.
Raise your weapon, Sunwind.
I am the bulwark against darkness!
So they can feel the rush as early as next turn now, right? Okay, so I think the play here is kill Trundle to start. So this way they can't go Ice Pillar into Feel the Rush and have leveled Trundles. This play kinda sucks against Ruination, but I also have enough cards in my hand that I think we can rebuild post-Ruination here still. This gives me another stun towards leveling Yasuo up as well here, which is nice. So, if they feel the rush us here, we're actually in a pretty okay spot with Steel Tempest in hand. Yeah, I think this is actually better for us than Ruination in this spot. Okay, so next turn we're gonna have 8 total mana. The question is, do I want to play this or do I want to just pass and bank this 3? I think I want to play this and see if I can hit a Comet, because they might try and level Trundle before they attack. Yeah, so the Comet's great here because the Comet means that if they level Trundle before they attack, I can Comet this and then stun the Trundle with the Steel Tempest. Until we get Battle Fury to trusting it again. Yeah, exactly. We do have 2 denies to draw to now, at least, though. Okay, sweet. And then this is playing out exactly like we drew it up, right? Do we just play Dragon? No. Do I want to Comet Trundle or Tryndamere? It's probably Tryndamere, right? I think it's Tryndamere. This gets bigger, though. So the problem is this gets bigger. So, like, they could kill me with Atrocity if they attack with this and I stun it. There's a chance they, like, just have enough 8 cost. I think I have to do this to play around Atrocity. Getting rid of Trundle off the table also means that they don't have Icequake in hand, which is nice. Well, we'd be getting rid of one of them, but yeah.
Daylight is unrelenting, but not eternal.
Yeah, I'm not playing around Battle Fury into Atrocity. It's just like not a sequence that's real.
Stand and fight!
Sure. You got it. As you will. Will you though? Will you? If you dodge a battle period to Atrocity, you can dodge it. Well, I mean, they actually just kill us with just base Atrocity, right? Because it's only heals 2.
I will follow this path until the end. Follow the wind, but watch your back.
So I think the play here is play Solari Soldier, hope they play Ledros, play Mina, pick their board up, kill them.
Ours is the one true light.
Bask in the light's radiance.
They could also have Ruination here, though. Hopefully they Ledros repeal the rush, though. If they Ruinate here, they technically unlock this. Screw it. I have 18 here, right? We just try and kill them?
Unwavering strength.
Yeah, I mean, we have Hearthstone lethal. I think that's the play. Just try and take it. Expecting vengeance here now? I mean, it's not a combo against explicitly these two, but it is good against other things where they're threatening to kill this. It depends on the matchup. Yeah, you want to kill their stuff a lot of the time. Is my agreement. Oh, you know what? I should play this card instead of... Well, I attack, so if they pass, I can play this still. It's kind of awkward here, but in general, I think it tends to be fine. Crystal Fizz, thanks for the 3-minute, the 3-minute to follow. Welcome. Yeah, we're just dead, right? This hasn't leveled yet, so we die. No, it's still the same instance of the card, so it still counts as targeting it. Gosh, these decks are so greedy. Just like they have Tryndamere, they have Feel the Rush, they have Atrocity, they have Ledros, like had 4 more denies. I mean, we added the denies, fam. Atrocity, like Noxian Fervor, feels like it should be slow. I mean, well, to be fair, if it was slow, it would have killed us there. But I'm inclined to agree with you in general. So, worth noting that it wouldn't have solved the issue we had there, but yeah. I agree. We'd have still died in that instance, but I still agree with the sentiment. This scene is really not good against aggro. That tech is very solid. That archetype is very good, but there's a lot of different builds of it. So like there's builds of it that don't involve you playing that much top end.
Ours is the one true light. Coming in hot. Punish transgressions.
I mean, the actual answer is just like play an aggressive deck with a curve and you'll kill people that are playing Ledros and Atrocity very quickly most games. I'm taking Traveler here just to have another thing to play to the board. I guess Falling Comet. I'm gonna take Comet. Comet's good insurance against gang playing. Also kills Jack down the line.
Follow the wind, but watch your back.
Easy pass to burn their mana here. My attack for 4 is not worth much here.
Fortune favors the bold.
The dawn has arrived.
With its light, the Solari will unite
Behold
the
the
heavens.
sun's holy light.
I mean, to be fair to Red Deck wins in Magic designs. Like, Red Deck wins in Magic also tends to be a pretty interactive archetype in that game as well.
Our strength is forever at its zenith.
Blessed day.
To shine like the sun, you must burn like it.
That was not the 1 mana Sunburst thing I was hoping to generate. Little on the expensive side. Again, easy pass to burn their mana. I feel like the opponent's given us a lot of beneficial passes so far in this set.
Face my shield.
Goodbye. Sure.
Clad in shining sunlight.
I'll be damned.
Yes, you will.
There's plenty of cannon left.
There's always a way out.
War Mason, reporting for duty. The few for the many.
Sunlight guide you, my brethren.
Yeah, this should be very lethal, and then guiding touch hopefully means we don't get burned out.
The sun's splendor revealed.
Maybe I do have a future.
I think this game, people trying to puzzle out our opponent's plays, it's really hard to understand why they were making the plays they were making without having access to their hand. And I think there's an incredibly likely chance that our opponent's hand was just clunky because of having too much burn to start. Is almost assuredly what happened. Thankfully, it's always sunny in Runeterra, so...
Bask in the light's radiance.
I guess that's a good question. Runeterra in general or this game? In general. Well, if you're confused by Runeterra in general, I would heavily encourage you to just give the game a download and play through the tutorials in it. It's very hard to pick up most card games if someone's not breaking it down to the very bare bones. I talk through the strategy, but I don't talk through the actual base game mechanics on stream. Playing 10 minutes of the Runeterra tutorials at the start will do you way more good than just trying to catch bits and pieces here. And it installs on Android and iOS, so you can play it on mobile as well, in addition to PC. Hello, youngest son. What's up, dude? Your hands are cold. Ice, ice, baby. Do. Elise, Twisted Fate, almost assuredly the Go Hard deck. I'm gonna mulligan the Guiding Touches, I think, here. To keep these other two Dorkos. Yeah, seems fine.
Bless the faithful and see it.
So, normally, Daybreak only activates once per round, but as is the case with most Sweet card mechanics, there are cards that modify that. So, Daylight Spear says it's always day. So, normally, you are correct. That it only triggers once per turn. Yeah, Daylight Spear, it's always day. It's always sunny in Runeterra when Daylight Spear is around. So I think I open attacks here before they can use this keg to go hard, kill my goat. But maybe that's wrong, right? They could have go harded last turn. Maybe that's wrong, because they could have go harded last turn. Yeah, we know that because of, yeah, you're right. You're right, because they had the mana. I wasn't paying attention to their spell mana. They could have technically drawn it for the turn, but it's probably not worth playing around. I probably should have gone Soldier Goat before I attacked there. Instead of playing around their one card for the turn being a thing.
Death is like the wind, always by my side.
Hey, thanks for the 25 months, Levo. I really appreciate that really generous tier 2. Welcome back. It is a new month to start, and December starts the 3rd month of being a primarily Runeterra channel. That's fun. Welcome to everybody hanging out here today, by the way. Great to see almost 500 people here in chat. Hope y'all are having a wonderful day wherever you're at in the world. I don't think I can just pass here. I think I need to smash. I want to end this game before they start telling us to pack our bags. If you're new to the channel, I stream full-time here on Twitch. I do about half my content as Runeterra stuff, and I also do a lot of single-player story-driven stuff as well. Yeah, that was real bad for us. Obviously should have taken the pass. Tier 2 and Tier 3 do not add extra points. Do not add extra points to the sub count, no. So, Tier 2 and Tier 3 come with deck submission perks and stuff, so when I factored out my 1,500 sub count, that also included assuming I was still going to be taking in some income from deck submissions like I always did. Yeah, I think Warrior's good here. Lets us pressure them and also kills Twisted Fate.
Keep up, keep up.
I can see total sub points. There actually isn't a widget that easily puts it on stream, but again, that's showing the raw sub count, which is what I wanted to show. I think I'm just healing this. That's actually a pretty good draw, because we can kill this now in combat.
Through the coral.
Sure. When a spell gets countered, it does not shuffle in the champ copy, but my spell doesn't get countered just because its target's removed BDSQ. This game doesn't work like Magic. So in Magic, when a card loses all of its targets, it gets countered, but that's not how Runeterra works.
I'm always up for a round or two. Eyes open.
Yeah, that's scary. Hopefully this finds a way to kill this. Yeah, honestly, I think I just take the Comet, because keeping Twisted Fate from leveling is pretty important.
Gotta go with the flow.
I mean, Meteor would have been better there. It would have been cheaper for a similar effect, but beggars won't be choosers.
Ours is the one true light. Punish transgressions.
That is an aggressive pack your bags. Yeah, I think that's a little premature.
If I kill you, I don't fuck you.
Just want to get this down, stalling 2 things, I think, here. Punished.
Ye started without me.
I mean, to be fair, they're about to have a full board pressure pick. They probably should have developed more before playing the pack your bags, though. Although, you know, had they waited, I would have been able to deny it now, so, like... Alright, we got some 8/8s. Hopefully they don't have a second Ruination here. Just so they go hard deal. Are they about to, like, triple go hard into pack your bags all this turn? That would actually not be great for me. Alright, well now we'll do this. So that way it doesn't die to, so it does that would explain the first very aggressive pack your bags. I just, like, have had 4 more. Okay. Their sequencing is all over the place here. They should definitely draw before they crumble there, so they can have more information before they make their decision.
Unyielding light.
So this is just an 8/8 with Fury at this point. The things it had previously been stunning are gone.
Poor thing. No!
Packed him good. I've whipped up something special.
Yeah, counters aren't even actually that good against pack your bags because the other ones don't transform back, right? So, like, if they have another pack your bags, which they're incredibly likely to because their deck is full of them, like, this isn't even that good in this situation. Yep.
Think you're fast? Cute.
That's why Notify is better. Because you stop the early shuffle. Nah, that's still shitty. Press a pick. You still mostly just die.
I pull the strings.
It's bad like deny for a lot of the same reasons. Having to have 2 mana open early is like a pretty big ask. Yeah, countering the drain 1 is super speculative. And it, like, demands you have something very, 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 very early. Kinda, like, your aggro deck needs to play to the board. Like, those decks frequently spend mana in the early turns. Leona, Diana. Well, again, the GOAT, looking for another Daybreak card to pair with this, since I have this as a 2-drop already. The Shuffler is confident we need a GOAT, chat.
Unyielding light.
Everguy, thanks for the Prime support. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch right now. Thanks for shipping your Bezo bucks this way this month and keeping me employed. Good morning. Good afternoon now. It's noon 30 already almost.
Bask in her radiant
I don't think that's strictly true, Yish. Like, you can look at for example, the Invoke control deck we played yesterday. We actually won a game through 3 resolved copies of Pack Your Bags. So, you're right that winning before they get to that point is an option, but it's definitely not the only option. It is a line, but it's definitely not the only line.
A mountain speaks to those who listen.
The dawn has arrived. Glorious light rains down.
Daylight everlasting.
So, I think I'm going to go ahead and gem this so I can attack.
Life and death.
They only have 1 mana available here, so they shouldn't have any combat tricks.
Gaze into the light.
Did I forget about a 1 mana combat trick? Oh no! Oh no! What a savage fucking blowout! Holy shit! Look at the way they massacred my boy, chat! Look at the way they massacred my boy! Oh no! Just never playing around the moon sliver in a million years. Good golly. Are we obligated to concede? I almost feel like we're supposed to concede out of principle at this point.
sunlight guide you, my friend.
Like, even took a moment to talk about, like, there's not a play. And they were just like, ha! Activated the trap card.
My faith protects me.
Thanks for the 7 months of Prime, Grexy. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yeah, it really has been here. What could possibly go wrong here? Nothing? How about everything, Jeff? What if everything went wrong?
I've become who I was always meant to be.
Now who's got the upper hand?
What if everything went wrong is definitely the motto of this year. Big moon.
Clad in shining sunlight. I am the bulwark against darkness.
Oh, right. We're not stunning anything yet. Next Daybreak starts stunning things.
Dawn has arrived.
May it never leave.
Behold the divine power of the sun. Sunlight blinds.
So, this attack's a free roll.
Scorching light.
heretic. Have faith.
Oh, the elusive attack is free. Yep.
Unyielding light. Glorious light rains down. We will not suffer unbelievers.
They will not escape punishment.
Here's our chance.
Really need like a day spear or one of our bombs here. Mind splitter
We'll follow you to the
would be nice. Mina Swiftfoot would be great.
Underestimate. I dare you.
Burn away doubt.
Look within.
Just spending these couple of turns here, like, just not having anything to do with our mana, and the opponent's just, like, using their mana and has a handful of cards still.
A shieldless warrior is a reckless fool. We've no need for shields. Our hearts are laid bare. Answer to me. Face your heretic.
The guilty will bear.
If I do this, our thing doesn't... I have a question. So, like, if Braum makes a Poro here, and then this dies, the Poro ends up on your bench because these cleared space. Why does that not work the same way with Concussive Palm? If these are dying in combat, I'd have space on my bench afterwards. So the stack resolving doesn't count as it resolving in combat? Yeah, but like, what's the part, like, I thought combat's supposed to resolve left to right. So, like, the ordering of the combat not mattering there then feels unintuitive to me. I feel like if this isn't making a thing in that instance, that Braum also shouldn't be making a Poro. It feels very inconsistent. The stack isn't during combat. It is, though. Like, my things are pulled up in front, and I'm clicking OK, and it's all happening simultaneously.
Bask in her radiant blessing. Sunlight blinds.
Here's our chance.
There's a couple things like that that don't feel super consistent with the Runeterra rule set. Now that's not logical, because combat resolves left to right. That's like, there's this arbitrary line that it's like all in combat, so it doesn't matter. But if it's all in combat, so it doesn't matter, combat being left to right shouldn't matter. Like, once you get that involved, like, then it means like the stack should happen too.
Daylight is unrelenting, but not eternal.
The Poro should just never get made. Because there's 6 things. Like, when it decides it'll put something temporarily on your bench versus when it doesn't, feels a little bit random.
Glorious light rains down.
No, it doesn't, Innuendo. That's what I'm saying. Concussive Palm won't generate a unit even if things are going to die in combat, and it would survive afterwards. That's explicitly what I'm saying. It's different for this card. Is what I'm talking about here. I understand that, Fumiko, but if that's the case, if combat happening before attacks happens is the difference, then the Braum thing shouldn't work. Is the thing. This is a very good draw.
Bask in the light's radiance.
Now who's got the upper hand?
Feet were made for roaming and chicken.
As a player, the fact that I'm clicking OK and the stack resolves and then the combat all resolves all at the same time makes it feel, the fact that you think it's natural to differentiate when the stack resolves versus when combat happens, when clicking OK makes all of them happen, is unintuitive and feels sloppy. If those are different things, it feels like there should be priority or something in the middle of them.
Own way in the darkness.
It doesn't feel consistent. I disagree with that. It feels very arbitrary, is the word I would use. Yeah, the eye telling you the results of both simultaneously. Big agree that definitely makes it feel like they should all be happening at once as well. Like, I understand how they work, it's just definitely not consistent.
Reconsider.
Mechanically, I get what's going on. We're probably dead here, because, like, sending these back to their hand means they get to draw more cards with them.
Forever at its zenith.
Vi Ezreal. I'm mulligan these, looking for a Leona to round out the Daybreak cards we have started.
Clad in shining sunlight.
Land Orca, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Open on attacks here, probably playing a Solari Priestess out, so definitely want to start by attacking, because, like, playing this out and then having them play a blocker isn't great. Doom Beast. So Doom Beast would imply something a little more aggressive out of them, perhaps. I think the Falling Comet is just a clean way to answer their champions here.
Don't blink or you'll miss me.
So the get excited with a scrapper, that's very different, Fenrir, because get excited discards the scrapper when you put get excited on the stack, not when both players click OK for it all to resolve. So that's not an apt comparison.
Wind, but watch your back.
Those are functionally, fundamentally very different. I think we just take the hit here. Could be right to chump block just to get rid of my cheap body. Two of these blocking this kill it. Honestly, the Braum making a thing is a very good comparison. That's why it's weird that they don't. That's why it's weird that they work differently. Nah, that's bullshit, Karate Dumb. Magic layer rules are horseshit and they don't work consistently. They don't work intuitively. Maybe they work consistently like a computer program, but they're definitely not intuitive, and they're not easy to wrap your head around. There's a lot of corner cases and nonsense in Magic that doesn't work well. Meteor Shower's great here. Gets to kill this and this, which is nice. I mean, these rules are literally being operated by a computer karate dumb, so they're definitely happening systematically in a way that makes sense. We just don't understand what they are.
Firing.
Easy.
Yeah, Ashword World, both Mogwai and Swim have been off of making Runeterra content in the mornings recently, so it's been better for my viewer count. And usually, I think Alan signed off by now, usually. Yeah, the space in between when Alan is done and BBG goes live has been a good segment. I like the Ezreal Shadow Isles Go Hard deck on my website. It's in the mid-range section. Probably my number one. Just gonna go ahead and do this and not give them a target for this. They can just point it at my face if they want.
No way.
That's a good summary. The fact that the pre-combat stack is treated separately from things happening with units in combat doesn't make sense to me. I mean, to be fair, we've always picked up follows while I'm streaming Ashworld. I just, in the last week, turned the notifications on stream. I had those turned off for a long time. Because Magic's such a big game category that I passively picked up so many people there that it was obnoxious to have it up there. But here it's a little bit slower, so it's fine to show it.
Don't let the fluffy tails fool you.
It's a nice straw.
My faith protects me.
The world's a big place. Let's see all of it.
Devotion through battle.
Think you're fast? Cute.
Ezreal's probably a card we want to Meteor. We are going to play more Witcher tonight. Yeah, we're doing Witcher Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Tomorrow night we're going to do Runeterra because tomorrow morning we're going to do Pokemon VGC. MTG ability, all creatures lose all abilities except when they don't. Yep.
bragging
It's
if
an
you
app,
can back it up.
summary.
You cannot sway me.
That's gotta hurt.
I mean, Alan literally streamed this morning. He was live before I went live. Alan's live almost every day. Mogwai still posts videos on YouTube. Swim, I have no idea. I don't have a direct affiliation with any of the other content producers. It isn't like there's like a streamers union or something that we're all a part of. I think I'd rather heal my face than my thing here. That's close though. I mean, it's okay. It's okay for people to play other games, chat. Only half of the content that I stream is Runeterra. There's a lot of really great games out there. You don't have to be all in on just playing one thing. There's a bit of a Lulu. But my brain can't fathom a healthy open relationship with the things I consume. It's all or nothing, Hogland. You won't talk me into just half doing something.
Sunlight guide you, my brother.
I either do all of it or I do none of it. You can't like multiple games at once, Jeff. That's heresy.
Please, I have connections.
Wasn't drawing a Yasuo better? No, I think not dying to an Ezreal is better. Man, they are really good at generating Crescent Guardian, huh? I think if they open attacks here, we go block, block, and then palm this. The other thing too is, you know, one of the things that's important about card games is a lot of people play card games for lots of different reasons. And, you know, there's some people who the thing that they like most about card games is when those card game formats are fresh and there's new things to explore. And that makes set release the most exciting for them. But for me personally, Runeterra does a really good job of just having like this huge range of things to play. It reminds me a lot of like modern, it reminds me a lot of Modern when I played a lot of that format in Magic, where, like, the format didn't change drastically every set release, but it was still, had just a lot of varied play patterns, so it was still fun to play in general. Am I even supposed to open attacks here? I don't know, they just get to block my dragon, then we only hit them for 4. Are we vulnerable to Ruination? This card's gonna draw me 2 cards. Okay, I think I disagree with your Ruination assessment. Because of Eclipse Dragon here. So, I kind of want to play this to block, but then I don't have a cheap enabler for this, but my deck's full of cheap enablers for the most part, so I think I'm supposed to do that. Taking a 5-ball here and then leaving this in play is kind of scary. Their second or third Israel. I think it's their third. It might only be 2, though. I think it was 3. I just played this now? No, I haven't played anything yet. Okay. Probably have a good Vile Feast. think I want to play this out. Kind of sucks against Ruination, though. That's a cheap enabler for this. That's nice. It's a little bit worse against Go Hard, sure. Dragon Hunter, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. We're gonna try and qualify the tournament. We'll try. Not via the ladder. Planning to play the last chance qualifier gauntlet. Not planning to try and make some kind of last minute crazy climb for Masters though. We'd have probably needed to stop playing viewer decks sometime last week or earlier this week to do that. Well, I mean, technically not dead on board.
Free and lonesome as a summer breeze.
Technically not dead on board. If this is any unit that they can play out with these, we die.
All unbelievers will see the light.
That'll be big.
Look skyward.
I think Pack Your Bags needs a nerf. I don't know. I don't think you reduce the damage on it. I think you just increase the cost of it. Yeah, you increase the cost to the backside. It's always kind of medium today. I don't know that I really have any thoughts. I definitely feel like we hit some bad breaks. The Feel the Rush matchups that we lost were close and like got blown out by some pretty savage spots. The Invoke matchup, we made an attack into a Moonsliver Pale Cascade that just like savaged us. So like, while the record felt mediocre and the games were rough, like when you go back and like think through the things that happened in the games that we played, like I don't really know that, like, it's inducive of making big changes. I do think, after thinking through how the format's changed a little bit, swapping the Bastions to Deny probably makes a lot of sense. Explicitly because, Go Hard and Pack Your Bags are things in the format. This is definitely better against Pack Your Bags, I think, a lot of the time. I think the couple of guiding touches at the bottom are probably better than the Pale Cascades we were playing before. Having a little bit of way to gain life in the aggressive matchups definitely feels very, very reasonable. And we don't have that many cheap Nightfall enablers, so yeah, I think I'm gonna update the list on the site to match what we had here in this one. Would Yone be better than Mind Splitter? No, I think Mind Splitter is much better than Yone. So, Mind Splitter single-handedly can level Yasuo over the course of a couple of turns, and being able to permanently lock things out is much better than just stunning things just for a single turn. So, Yone is like a mediocre piece of top end that like comes into play and stuns something, and then like you kill them that same turn you stun something. But because our deck is looking to be more of a mid-range control deck, having something that has a lasting impact on the board that can let you control the board for a longer period of time, I think makes Mind Splitter much better. Yone is fine versus Harrowing, but I mean, like, we just added Denies to our deck to become a little bit better against that. And honestly, Mind Splinter's not terrible versus Harrowing either, because you can get Mind Splinter down before they Harrowing and gum up their board slots with things that stay stunned. So this card is good against Harrowing in a different way, in the way that it kind of dictates how their board slots end up getting used, because board management's a big part of making those Harrowing decks play efficiently. So, at any rate, that's going to be it for today. I really appreciate all the new folks that dropped in. Welcome to the channel. Thanks to all the returning folks as well. Remember, if you're interested in more of my content, I post a highlight video on YouTube almost every single day. We play a ton of Runeterra constructed on this channel. I usually play 2 to 3 different decks every single day on stream. Full stream archives as well as highlights go up there. I also do some non-Runeterra stuff on the channel. About half of what I do is non-Runeterra stuff. We started a playthrough of Witcher 3 for the first time. I had not played that title before on Sunday night, and we'll be revisiting that this evening. My next Runeterra stream will be tomorrow night. Tomorrow morning in my morning slot, we're going to be dipping back into some Pokemon VGC. We tried that for the first time last week, and it was fun, so we're playing some more of that tomorrow on the Switch. So if you're into Runeterra stuff, I'll be back with that tomorrow night for sure, though. Everybody, have a good day, and peace, folks.